Today we're talking triads. Those little guys, those are the key to getting your sound in the mix, sticking out. They're also going to be the key to unlocking improvisational wonders. Stay tuned, we're talking triads. So before we dive in, what even is a triad? Well, triads are 3-note chord voicings. And they are distinctly made up of a root, which we can't change, a third, which we can change depending if we want it to be major or minor, and a fifth, which for our applications today, we're going to say we don't change. There are instances where that is altered, but for 90% of pop rock music, we don't need to worry about it right now. So what makes a triad different than a bar chord voicing? Well, when we play, for example, a G bar chord here, I'm at the 3rd fret of my low E string using an E-shaped bar chord, so this is a G chord. This has 6 notes in it. I'm playing a note on my E, A, D, G, B, all 6 strings of my guitar. But I'm only actually playing 3 distinct notes. I'm playing a G, which is my root. I'm playing a B here on my G string, which would be my 3rd of this chord. And then I'm playing a D also on the A and the B strings. Those 3 notes, in this case, the G, the B, and the D, are what would comprise my G major triad. Now, again, I'm doubling up some of those notes. In this voicing, I have 3 root notes. I have a G on my E, D, and high E strings. I have a 3rd on my G string, the B, and then I have the 5th, my D note, on my A and my B strings. If I break this large bar chord down and think of playing just the notes on the D, G, and B strings, I get a triad in what we call root position, which means the root, my G note, is the lowest note in the voicing. Then we have the 3rd, in this case B, and then the 5th, D. If we think back briefly to algebra class, we'll remember that any set of 3 different numbers has 3 different configurations. This is the same thing with notes, where if I have root, 3rd, and 5th, I can also configure them 3rd, 5th, and root, which we call first inversion, and I can also do 5th, root, and 3rd, which we call second inversion. If we walk through that, all I want to do is move each of these individual notes up to the next note in the voicing. My root, which is G, moves to my 3rd, B. My 3rd, B, is going to move to my 5th, D. And my 5th, D, is going to move to my root, G. That gives me first inversion, which is 3rd, 5th, and root. If I repeat this process, I go 3rd, moves up to the 5th, my 5th, D moves up to my root, G, and G moves up to my 3rd, B, which gives me second inversion, which is 5th, root, and 3rd. We don't have time here to go into every inversion of major and minor on the fretboard. I want to get into how these are useful, but if you want to learn every major and minor triad on the fretboard, all their inversions laid out, some more exercises to master triads on the fretboard, please click the link below. I put together a free PDF for you guys. Has great practice advice, great practice exercise, has diagrams, tabs, everything, no cost. Please pick it up. I want you guys to excel, so when you come back next time to talk about improvising, we're ready to go. So let's look at how these triads help build dynamic rhythm guitar parts. There isn't anything wrong with playing a chord progression using open chords, right? Let's say we have E minor, C to G to D. Is there anything wrong with playing that chord progression that way? Nothing wrong with that. There's not even anything wrong with using bar chords. E minor, C, G, wrong with either of those. But depending on the context, those are going to sound really full, big, and take up a lot of space in a mix. So how might we play the same progression using triads? Well, if we think of our high middle string set, let's start by just trying to play it using root inversion triads, meaning if I put my E, I'm going to put it up here at the 14th fret on the D string. There's E minor. If I put my root now, the 8th fret, that's my C major. Now I go down to the 5th fret, which is G major. Come back up to the 12th fret, which is D major. Right? So that would be E minor, C, G, D. That's already a tighter, more dynamic rhythm part than playing open strings or larger bar chords. But what's the drag of this? The drag of it is I'm moving up and down the fretboard way too much. We want to try to play it in as close of positions as possible. So this is where if we use our inversions, we can play this same progression, remember, 3 different ways. So if we start again with our E minor root note here on the D string, where's my closest C major root note? It's going to be 13th fret on my B string, which gives me a first inversion C major triad. Where's my G root note? 12th fret on the G string. That gives me a second inversion G major triad. And where's my closest D root note? 12th fret on the D string. That's a root inversion D major chord. Great rhythm part right there. Super tight, punchy, dynamic. Let's look at the 2 other ways we can play the same progression. Each of those 3 options is tighter, more dynamic, and will help you find your spot in the mix more effectively than playing large, either open or 5 or 6 note bar chords. So now that you know how to play triads and use them to elevate your rhythm guitar playing, remember, there's a whole other side of this, which is using these same triad shapes in our soloing. I'll be covering that in the next video, so if you want to learn how to use these same shapes to play licks, lead lines, and beautiful phrases outlining the chord progressions, subscribe below, hit the notification bell, and also pick up your free PDF below. All you got to do is hit the link and you'll be able to get it. I outline all the same information plus a bunch of helpful triad practicing exercises. Get that below so you'll be ready to melt faces next time.